The Bravus II 12D subwoofer is APERION Audio's next step up from their Bravus II 10D subwoofer, offering more power and bigger drivers. But is it worth the cost over its little brother? Now, I want to give a huge thanks to the folks over at APERION Audio for sending out the Bravus II 12D subwoofer for me to check out and review. Now, you can check out their products for yourself through the links in the description or at APERIONaudio.com, and be sure to use the coupon code HTG10 at checkout to get 10% off your order. So as we kick off the unboxing and open the box, you're greeted with a little goodie box containing the power cable, spiked feet and footers, and large rubber feet that help to decouple the subwoofer from the floor. Now, what I do like here is that these are included at no extra cost to you, and no tools are needed to install the feet, they just attach by hand. Unboxing the actual subwoofer itself, which was sent to me in the cherry gloss finish and contained within a fancy purple bag, was a piece of cake, and honestly the subwoofer came extremely well packed, just like all the other APERION Audio products I've reviewed so far. Outside of the 12-inch high excursion downfiring driver, which is a mouthful to say, the Bravus II 12D also has dual 12-inch passive radiators on each side with removable cloth grills, owing to why this somewhat compact subwoofer weighs in just shy of 50 pounds. Now, this being a sealed subwoofer also helps in keeping the overall enclosure or box size down, which makes placement in tight spots a bit easier. Now, while these passive radiators aren't powered, they do lend to the overall efficiency of the subwoofer, making it sound larger and more powerful while still keeping the subwoofer box size down. Now, these passive radiators are also why the frequency response is listed as it is, 22 Hz to 350 Hz plus or minus 3 dB for the active downfiring driver, and 19 Hz to 350 Hz plus or minus 6 dB for the passive radiators. Now, powering that active downfiring driver is APERION's own 650 watt RMS Class D digital amplifier. On the back, you'll find an auto on-off toggle switch along with a variable phase control, crossover, and volume knobs. You also get left and right line level inputs, an LFE input, as well as high level inputs for connecting to speakers and using the subwoofer's crossover control if that's something you'd like to go for. Now, all of this comes in a relatively small and compact enclosure that's available in 4 different finishes, with a price tag coming in at $1,199 for either the stealth black or pure white finish, or $1,299 for the gloss black or cherry gloss finish. Now, as far as my general first impressions go in terms of sound quality, things here are really positive. I was actually impressed by just how much bass this smaller profile subwoofer put out, and not just loud boomy bass. The bass I was hearing was really tight and controlled without much in the way of boominess or bloat that I could detect. Now, there was definitely clarity to be had here, and the passive radiators did a good job of lending a hand at making this subwoofer sound much larger and richer than you'd expect from a 12-inch active driver in a more traditional single subwoofer enclosure. Now, recently I've been playing through Hogwarts Legacy, which has some pretty decent heft and low bass moments and impacts. Now, everything sounded excellent here, with tight bass that dug fairly deep and got plenty loud when it needed to. I also noticed no distortion at all when I really cranked it, even to levels that I typically wouldn't play any game at for an extended period of time. I then threw all of my usual subwoofer demos at it, from Blade Runner 2049 to Ready Player One, along with more than a bunch of different Dolby Atmos demos, and the Bravus II 12D delivered here, as well with that same tight, punchy bass that I experienced while playing Hogwarts Legacy. Now, unfortunately, didn't have too much time to test this subwoofer with music, but from the few tracks I did check out, those same characteristics I previously mentioned apply here as well. Tight, controlled bass with no distortion, even at high volume levels. Now, one area I do want to touch on really quick is the finish, as I'm more of a traditionalist when it comes to speakers. I tend to just prefer matte black finishes on my speaker and subwoofer cabinets, but man, the cherry gloss finish is honestly super nice. I honestly couldn't believe just how nice it looks in the front corner of my theater room. Now, granted, this subwoofer isn't going to convert me over to loving wood grain finishes on my speakers and subwoofers, but I can't deny the beauty of high gloss wood grain finishes any longer. Now I do want to mention one area that I feel the Bravus II 12D may fall short, and that is the lack of app control. Now this subwoofer is 100% controlled by the dials and switches on the back. Now this isn't necessarily a deal breaker, but the added convenience of being able to control all the subwoofer's options from an app on my phone while I'm trying to get stuff set up and calibrated is something I'd really like to see added in a future revision of the Bravus line. I mean, if you're like me and like to tweak things a lot, or maybe you swap out subwoofers more than the next person, it's kind of nice being able to just control everything without having to go back and forth from your subwoofer over and over again. But honestly, as far as general first impressions go, I wasn't expecting as much bass from the Bravus II 12D based on my previous experience with its smaller sibling, the Bravus II 10D. Not that the 10D is a slouch in the bass department, not at all, as it does share the same acoustical and sound characteristics of the 12D, just in a smaller package. But just the sheer amount of volume and overall bass output I got from the Bravus II 12D over the 10D was noticeable and substantial, and that surprised me. Again, the 10D was no slouch here, but if you're on the fence and can't decide between the two and can swing the extra cost of the 12D, well, my money would go to the Bravus II 12D. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Bravus line of subwoofers, or if you've heard of APERION Audio, if you like their products, so feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like and be sure to stick around for the full review video coming soon. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.